My son says I'm a control freak. I raised my son to be the top scorer in the university entrance exams, but on the day of the TV interview, he deliberately slashed his wrists. After being rescued, in front of the reporters, he accused me of oppression. He said I broke 3 of his ribs to force him to study. He said he just wanted to be a normal person, not a test-taking machine to satisfy my vanity. My husband, Li Feng, and Grandma Li also stood by, echoing his words, calling me a control freak. The netizens judged me with fury. In my heart, I wanted to stab my son to death in my madness, but in the end, I signed a settlement agreement with them. You are merely doing heaven's work. Control freaks like my mother only harm society by living. I opened my eyes and was reborn to the year. My son was taking his high school entrance exams. A gaming console? I want a gaming console. Who wants to study these useless books? Besides controlling me, what else do you know how to do? You're a control freak. Why don't you just die? Zhan Bang rolled on the living room floor, throwing a tantrum. His words sent a chill down my spine. Grandma Li rushed to help Zhan Bang up. My sweet grandson, it's cold on the floor. What if you get sick? Then she glared at me. Do you even know how to be a mother? Just give him the gaming console, isn't that simple? You just stand there, watching him roll on the floor. Are you addicted to being a control freak? Backed by Grandma Li, Zhan Bang aggressively ran over and kicked me. No, you old hag. It serves you right if you die. Grandma Li chuckled, praising Zhan Bang. My good grandson isn't afraid of authority, truly a rebellious spirit. The two of them chattered happily, their voices intertwined. In my previous life, I had repeatedly begged Grandma Li not to spoil Zhan Bang excessively. My son lacked self-discipline in eating, studying, and even sleeping, always needing supervision. He was already addicted to games. Once he started playing, he'd forget everything else, even staying up for several nights in a row. The high school entrance exam was just 6 months away. This was a crucial time. With his grades, getting into a prestigious school wouldn't be a problem, but we couldn't lose his great future over something trivial. Grandma Li didn't care. She argued with me. What do you mean, lose a great future over something trivial? To me, my grandson's happiness is the most important thing. She never liked me, so she always tried to win over my son. She was an elder, so I couldn't directly interfere and had to ask Li Feng for help. After much pleading, Grandma Li finally didn't buy the gaming console because it cost almost 3,000 yuan, even more expensive than her monthly pension. This time, I sent the affectionate grandmother and grandson off. If you want to be a good grandma, go ahead. Before leaving, Zhan Bang taunted me. No, old hag, you can't control me this time. It'll kill you, it'll kill you. I smiled. Why should I control you? It's exhausting and fruitless. From now on, do whatever you want, sleep whenever you want. Hearing this, Zhan Bang jumped with joy. You mean it. You always make empty promises, never keeping your word. This time, you have to write a commitment letter. He excitedly grabbed a pen and began to outline all the study plans, tutoring classes, and training schedules I had set for him. He wrote, From today, Zhu Mai Zhao is not allowed to interfere with Li Zhan Bang's private life, including his studies, daily activities, and all content recorded in this commitment letter. If any clause is violated, Zhu Mai Zhao must pay 10,000 yuan for breach of contract. Zhan Bang handed me this unequal contract, raising an eyebrow provocatively. Well, do you dare to sign it? I took the pen and added a few more lines of regulations, including but not limited to washing clothes, cooking, cleaning, pocket money, and study materials. In total, I added over 10 small clauses. Zhan Bang glanced over it and burst into laughter. Ha, Zhu Mai Zhao, you're hilarious. You need to write down these trivial things. Are you mocking my ingratitude? Let me tell you, he added, getting more agitated. You think all the things you do for me, I should be grateful? I didn't ask you to give birth to me. For a control freak like you, I wish you had just died the day you gave birth to me. Grandma Li chimed in, her tone sarcastic. Don't blame him, his words are harsh. But for a boy to see things so clearly at his age, it's not bad. What sacrifice? Sacrifice needs someone to receive it to be called a sacrifice. Otherwise, it's just humiliating yourself. The grandmother and grandson played off each other, as if they only wished to trample me underfoot. After signing the contract, Zhan Bang immediately tore up the study materials I had bought for him. From now on, I'm free. I merely glanced at him, then walked over and flipped through all the study materials in his room. He defensively reached out to stop me. "Oh ho, trying to control me again? Did you work hard to buy these things? Want them back? Fine, pay the 10,000 yuan penalty first." I replied calmly, "Who cares about controlling you? I plan to give these materials to my colleagues. Their children are also in 9th grade this year. If you tear them up and throw them away, they'll truly be worthless." Zhan Bang glared at me. "Zumai Zhao, keep acting. Are you even fooling yourself now? Giving them to others, I don't believe it." Grandma Li, standing next to him, added, "Just a few hundred yuan worth of materials. Do you think your mother, being so stingy, would actually give them away?" It wasn't until my colleague actually came to collect the materials that Grandma Li and Zhan Bang stood frozen, unable to believe their eyes. "Grandma, it seems Mom is serious this time." "No way, your mom always has you wrapped around her finger." "Let's go, Grandma, take me to buy a gaming console." The grandmother and grandson excitedly dragged each other out. I just smiled, saying nothing. After all, I had already died once. In my previous life, I had poured my entire life into my son. Zhan Bang was somewhat intelligent but lacked self-discipline. He absolutely needed someone to supervise him while studying. In my previous life, to get him into a prestigious university, I devoted all my time and effort to him. I painstakingly raised him to be the top scorer in the university entrance exams. Yet, on the day of the TV interview, he deliberately slashed his wrists. After being rescued in front of the cameras, he cried and accused me. "You forced me. You made me study so hard that I broke 3 ribs." But in reality, during that time, he was addicted to games at internet cafes, often skipping school, and his grades plummeted. He was afraid I would scold him, so he ran away to a friend's house. But they argued, and during a scuffle, he fell from the 3rd floor. Li Feng and Grandma Li both knew this, but during the interview, they stood by, subtly implying that I forced him to study merely for my vanity. She's an excellent teacher. If her son doesn't become the top scorer, she'll be ridiculed by her colleagues and lose face. From a prestigious teacher to a despised outcast, the unexpected interview went viral. I was severely attacked by netizens. The school principal said my issue seriously affected the school's reputation and decided to fire me. On my way home, a netizen who called himself the Righteous Punisher hacked me to death. But my son, after hearing about the killer's childhood, nobly signed a reconciliation paper. I understand you, sir. We both have a controlling mother. Don't blame yourself. In others' eyes, what you did was crazy, but in my eyes, you are just doing heaven's work. After all, control freaks like her are just a menace to society. I closed my eyes, feeling that my previous life had been utterly wasted. This time, reborn, I would choose my own life. The ping of a message pulled me back to reality. It was from Chu Rui, my best friend. "Zumai Zhao, I'm giving you one last chance. If you stand me up again, this friendship is over." In my previous life, my son, instigated by Grandma Li, had a huge fight with me and eventually ran away from home. That day, I stood up Chu Rui. She was so angry she broke off our friendship. But when I was attacked by netizens, Chu Rui still stood up for me, explaining on my behalf to everyone. Thinking of Chu Rui, my heart softened. "You're the most important person in my heart." What nonsense! Who could be more important than your precious son? No one is more important than you. Chu Rui loved tulips the most. In my previous life, when she stood by me despite everything, I promised to give her a bouquet of tulips to apologize. I had already ordered the flowers but hadn't had a chance to give them to her. This time, I wouldn't let that happen again. Leaving the flower shop, I stopped at the store next door and chose a bottle of jasmine perfume. As I was paying, my phone rang. It was Grandma Li. "Zumai Zhao, come to Zhangqiao Mall right now. Your son was just hit by a BMW going the wrong way." On the other end of the phone, Grandma Li sounded frantic. I was very disappointed in my son, but over 10 years of caring for him had become an unconscious reflex. In that moment, my hands and feet went cold, my brain felt drained of blood. The perfume bottle in my hand dropped to the ground, shattering. But then, from the phone, I heard Grandma Li's triumphant voice. "My grandson is still the smartest. Grandma just called your mother and said you were in an accident. A little red medicine to pretend a bit, wait for your mother to come and pay, then we won't pay attention to her anymore." Grandma Li was so smug that she didn't realize the call was still connected. Do you see how stupid your mother is? She fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And she's a teacher? I don't know how stupid she had to be to give birth to a prodigy like you. Who's smarter than my grandson? He knew how to sign his name at 3, wrote poetry at 5, and always came first from childhood to adulthood. Yet your mother still makes you study all day, saying playing games will affect your exams. What nonsense! My genius grandson can still come first even if he plays games every day. Your mother is just stingy and doesn't want to buy you a gaming console. She doesn't understand, you know? Your mother is an excellent teacher. If you do poorly in school, what will others think of her? In the end, she's just a glory seeker who doesn't want to be looked down upon, so she deliberately turned you into a test-taking machine, high scores, but useless. My grandson is still smart. He saw right through her intentions. But don't blame your mother too much. After all, she's just a country bumpkin who rose from nowhere. She's not even worthy to contend with you. I hung up, coldly sweeping up the broken glass on the floor, and chose another bottle of perfume. On my way, I called Zai-Osu, Li Feng's colleague. Is Li Feng there? I can't reach him. Please tell him that Grandma Li said Jian Bang was in an accident at Zhangchao Mall and to go there immediately. Don't worry, Ms. Zhao, I'll tell him right away. In my previous life, Li Feng always presented himself as a warm father to outsiders. He always played the role of a man suffering because of his wife. He enjoyed the results of my hard work raising our son at home, doing nothing, but just by saying a few moral platitudes, he was praised as an exemplary father. How could such a good thing exist in this world? I turned off my phone and continued with my plan to meet Chu Rui. When I returned home, Li Feng immediately started yelling. My skin had tanned a little during my 10 days away. As soon as he stepped through the door, Li Feng showered me with insults. Zumai Zhao, do you even have the right to be a mother? Your son was in an accident, you didn't go, fine, but why did you have to tell Zai-Osu? Don't you know Zai-Osu is a gossip? He just said it and the whole company knows now. I chuckled inwardly. If Zai-Osu wasn't a gossip, why would I have called him? But in front of me, Li Feng continued his tirade. Zumai Zhao, you're over 30, don't you have any sense? Why do you have to drag me into family matters? Don't you see I'm busy with work? I've already negotiated with the client, just one more step to close a 5 million contract, but now everything's ruined. Do you know how difficult this client is? I spent 5 months to get this opportunity. I looked at him, finding it amusing. 5 months? Have you ever spent a single month on this family? You've messed everything up, and in the end, you'll have nothing. I smiled coldly. This client is indeed difficult to deal with, but your shirt still has lipstick marks. Li Feng's expression changed dramatically. He shouted, "What are you looking at? Everything you see is dirty, isn't it? Lipstick marks, that's my son's blood on me." He waved his hand to block, then feigned indifference. "Oh, whatever, I don't have time to argue with a shrew like you." After saying that, he flinched and turned to leave. My grandson is so good, he's good at playing games too. In the living room, Jian Bang was playing a game, talking to his teammates as he fought. "Charge, why are you running? Is that your father-in-law on the other side? You play so stupidly. Are you playing with your hands? My grandma plays with her feet and she's better." Grandma Li sat next to him, holding a plate of fruit, smiling brightly as she praised Jian Bang. "My sweet grandson, are you tired from gaming? Have some mangoes and rest a bit." My grandson is truly amazing. Is it because of the gaming console Grandma bought? Playing games is so much fun, Grandma thinks it was worth the money. Jian Bang sneered. Someone had better put away their foxtail. Don't secretly put study materials in my room. If I find out, you'll have to pay a fine. Grandma Li also chimed in, her tone growing increasingly aggressive. She had initially called just to trick me into coming to the mall as a scapegoat. The result was not only a failure, but also Li Feng going there to watch the spectacle. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She stopped trying to sleep, opened my door, and barged into my room, extending her hand without ceremony. That latest gaming console my grandson bought, I used my savings for my funeral expenses. You have to pay me back. I'm not greedy, just 4,000 yuan will do. I glanced at the purchase receipt, my voice dripping with sarcasm. The gaming console costs 2,998 yuan. You open your mouth and it becomes 4,000 yuan? What's wrong? Do you feel like you don't have much longer to live, so you're trying to save money for a coffin? She was furious. Zumai Zhao, what kind of talk is that? Your son bought the gaming console, so you have to pay for it. What's wrong with me taking a little extra from you? I'm your mother, you should be filial to me. I replied coldly, then isn't my son your grandson? Didn't you intentionally try to act like a good grandmother? She choked, stammering. My mother died over 10 years ago. There are meters of grass on her grave. If you die, I'll immediately burn billions for you. Do you dare to die? Oh my God, there's no justice anymore. A daughter-in-law cursing her mother-in-law to death. She couldn't argue back and immediately sat down on the floor, wailing loudly. If you don't apologize to Mom, we're getting a divorce. Her loud wailing drew Li Feng. Mom, tell me, I will certainly stand up for you. She just wanted you to pay back the money for the gaming console, but she cursed you to die. Tell me, isn't that outrageous? Li Feng frowned, then turned to scold me. It's such a small matter, and you're making such a fuss. Zumai Zhao, apologize to my mother immediately. Do you have any respect for elders? And you're a teacher too. I smiled coldly. I'm a teacher, not a scapegoat. Your mother wants to play the role of a good grandmother, then she must play it all the way. If she doesn't want to spend money, then don't buy it. The argument annoyed Zhan Bang. He threw the game controller onto the table, exasperated. What's all this arguing about? Why are you making such a racket? I just lost 5 lives in this game. Seeing Zhan Bang intervene, Grandma Li immediately wiped away her fake tears, putting on a pitiful act. It's Grandma's fault. Grandma shouldn't argue with your mother, you just play. Grandma will go now, she said, then turned to Li Feng. Son, your wife is right, I am truly insensible. Anyway, your daughter-in-law hates me, so I'll leave now and won't hinder your family's harmony anymore. Li Feng quickly stopped her. Mom, stay home. This is your home, you just stay here. Zumai Zhao, apologize to my mother immediately, or we're getting a divorce. Zhan Bang also spread his arms, blocking her way. Grandma, this is your home. Whoever dares to kick you out, I'll kick them out of this house. I looked at the 3 people in front of me, finding it only amusing. What, you want to use divorce to pressure me? I raised an eyebrow, my voice calm. Divorce, then divorce. But let me remind you, this house bears the Zhao surname, not the Li surname. If anyone has to get out of here, it should be the 3 of you. I bought this house before marriage. It was near a good school, convenient for my son's studies, so the whole family moved in here. The Li family's house was in the East District of the city, and they were still renting it at the time. When I bought this house, they insisted on choosing a house near their place, saying it would be easy to visit their grandson. At that time, they spoke so sincerely, but after knowing I already had this apartment, they immediately set their sights on it. They used the excuse that this house was near the school and convenient for my son's studies, then decided not to live in their East District house anymore, renting it out instead. For over a decade, I had never seen a cent of that rental money. I never wanted to quibble with the Li family. I just wanted to focus on raising my son, and when he grew up, I would slowly cut ties with that family. But after more than 10 years of dedicated upbringing, the result was an ungrateful and disloyal son. Zumai Zhao, what do you want? Do you have to turn the whole house upside down before you're satisfied? Don't you know your son has his high school entrance exams in 6 months? What will outsiders think if you demand a divorce now? I looked at Li Feng coldly. So, when you used divorce to pressure me, you didn't think about our son's upcoming exams? Truly, the Li family is selfish, always thinking only of themselves. Li Feng choked, his face darkening. Li Feng was a hypocrite, and now that I had exposed his true colors, he couldn't refute a single word. If you two want to divorce, just go ahead, don't drag me into it. Zhan Bang sneered, glancing at me with contempt. My IQ, don't even talk about divorce. Even if I play games for 6 months straight, I'll still get into a prestigious school. After saying that, he turned and left. Let's go through with the divorce tomorrow. I looked at Li Feng with a faint smile. Since it's come to this, then tomorrow, you and I will take leave to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to complete the procedures. Li Feng gritted his teeth. Fine, let's do it. You think you can threaten me with divorce? But when we arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau, we were stopped due to the mediation period. The staff advised, your child is in an important exam period. You shouldn't let a divorce affect him. Li Feng quickly apologized. It's my fault for not thinking things through. But the night before, I saw Xiao Su post in the company group chat. It turned out Li Feng's company was holding an excellent employee selection with a bonus of up to 100,000 yuan, and one of the main criteria was family happiness. If we divorced, this award would vanish into thin air. Divorced, you'll be used goods then. Knowing we hadn't divorced yet, Grandma Li sneered, spitting out sunflower seed shells as she mocked me. Why did you go to the Civil Affairs Bureau only to change your mind? If you divorce, you'll be nothing but used goods. But my son, he's a potential stock. Just standing still, he'll have a crowd of girls around him. As for you, even if you compensate with the house, who would want you? I didn't bother to reply, just smiled faintly. Anyway, we have to get a divorce. So first, I invite the two of you to leave this house and return to your apartment in the East District. Grandma Li angrily screamed, "You tell us to leave and we leave. I'm not going." I stared at Li Feng, emphasizing each word. If you don't want Zio Su to know about our divorce, then you should move out with your mother. Li Feng's face darkened. Zumai Zhao, you can't be so selfish. Our son is at a crucial time. Moving to the other side, the commute alone will take 2 hours. In that time, he could do 2 practice exams. I scoffed, so you're afraid it'll affect our son, not your work, right? Of course, I nodded. I didn't say our son had to move. I said you and your mother. Grandma Li was so angry she gritted her teeth, wishing she could lunge at me and bite me. Grandson, quickly, help Grandma. In the evening, when Zhan Bang came home from school, Grandma Li immediately ran to him to complain. Grandson, you must stand up for Grandma. Your mother is trying to kick Grandma and your father out of the house. Zhan Bang frowned, looking at Li Feng, then at Grandma Li. Then he stepped forward, confidently grasping their hands. Dad, Grandma, rest assured, I will never betray you two. Living with that old hag is worse than going with you two. Wherever you go, I'll follow. Li Feng and his mother had initially planned to get Zhan Bang on their side, giving them an excuse to shamelessly continue staying in my house. But they didn't expect Zhan Bang to say those words, immediately cutting off their retreat. He excitedly packed his belongings, yelling, "Great, finally free from that controlling old hag. Dad, Grandma, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and pack, let's move tonight." That night, Grandma Li's face was stiff and twisted, as if she was constipated. My sweet grandson, but the house in the East District is still rented out. Zhan Bang didn't care. Then pay the tenant back and tell him to move out. After all, that house is ours. If we tell him to move, he has to move. Li Feng frowned, his voice annoyed. No, breaking the contract will incur a penalty. At this point, Zhan Bang displayed his genius IQ. He rummaged around for a while, then held up a rental contract. It's only a 1-year lease, and this year the contract hasn't been renewed, so logically we can take it back whenever we want. He looked at me smugly, challenging me with a triumphant smile. In his eyes, I was nothing but a thorn in his side, and he wanted to escape me as soon as possible. I looked at him, finding it only amusing. This fool, does he really think the person renting that house is a stranger? In my previous life, I accidentally overheard Grandma Li arguing with Li Feng about the rent. That's when I found out that Li Feng was letting his mistress live in the East District house for free. Not only did he not collect rent, but he also secretly paid her additional money from his own pocket every month. At that time, I wanted to divorce him immediately, but thinking about my son's exams, I was afraid it would affect him. So I dedicated myself even more to raising my son, wanting him to have a better future. I used all my strength to help him become the top scorer in the university entrance exams, but in the end, he still turned his back on me. This time, I wouldn't expose the truth myself. I wanted this unfilial son to discover it on his own. Because Zhan Bang was so adamant, Li Feng and his mother were forced to move out the very next day. As soon as they finished moving, Zhan Bang immediately boasted online, "The sea is wide for fish to swim, the sky is high for birds to fly. From now on, my world is free from that hateful old hag. Amen." Immediately after, he unceremoniously kicked me out of the family chat group. "Mom, since you don't need me anymore, don't appear in my life either." Grandma Li also quickly posted a photo, a picture of the 3 of them without me. My precious babies, forever family. Seeing this, I just laughed. If it were before, I might have felt heartbroken and disappointed. But now, I only felt relieved. They were not my weakness. They were a burden on my shoulders for so many years. No more supervising my son's studies. No more planning his homework checks. No more agonizing over nutritious meal plans. No more waking up early to prepare breakfast for the whole family. No more enduring Grandma Lee's deliberate provocations. I no longer had to listen to sarcastic remarks when I educated my son, nor was I forced to live in a suffocating atmosphere. Finally, I could live my own life. I spent time chatting with Chu Rui, discussing fashion, doing our hair, shopping, getting beauty treatments, doing our nails, and going on weekend trips. I enrolled in a dance class, learning lively, vibrant dances with a group of young women in their late teens and early 20s, chattering about their futures and dreams. Immersed in that atmosphere, I felt 10 years younger. After moving, Li Feng and his mother's lives were completely turned upside down. The house in the East District was too far from the school and the company. Previously, Li Feng only had to wake up at 8:40 a.m. to have a hot breakfast, then leisurely walk 10 minutes to work. But now, he had to wake up more than an hour earlier. Time was tight, and for a lazy person like Li Feng, this was a critical blow. He not only had to wake up early but also worry about Zhan Bang going to school. My son was a heavy sleeper and very grumpy in the mornings. Before, I always played the villain, forcing him to wake up early, jog, eat breakfast, and go to school. Now, without my supervision, he stayed up all night gaming, overslept, and couldn't get up. Initially, Li Feng and his mother didn't want to be the bad guys, but Zhan Bang kept oversleeping. Skipping school every other day wasn't a solution. That's when Li Feng remembered me. Zumai Zhao, we can't just ignore our son. He came to find me, looking disheveled with a sad expression. Zumai, I was wrong. I shouldn't have sided with my mother against you. But after all, he's your biological son. You can't just give birth to him and not care for him. You don't know, lately he's been skipping school, gaming all night, and his studies have seriously declined. Do you know his rank dropped by 300 places in the last monthly exam? If this continues, let alone a prestigious school, he might not even get into a regular high school. I sipped my coffee, calmly replying, "What are you worried about? His IQ is so high. He doesn't need to study, he can still become a professional gamer. Don't look at things so narrowly. The future isn't just about academics." Li Feng nearly choked on his saliva. "Zumai Zhao, do you know what you're saying? This isn't helping our son, it's harming him." I tilted my head, my eyebrows slightly furrowed. "Oh, aren't these the very words you used to say to me? Before, you always called me a control freak, saying I didn't know how to balance study and rest, forcing our son to bear academic pressure too early. At that time, I thought you were just talking nonsense, but after many years of teaching, I gradually realized you had a point. I even admired you for your progressive educational philosophy. Why are you suddenly saying I'm wrong now?" Li Feng's face instantly changed. That can't be compared like that." "Why not?" I looked him calmly in the eye, smiling faintly. "You clearly know our son lacks self-discipline, yet you indulge him, letting him destroy himself. Oh, so you agree with me that our son needs supervision to study properly, right? You also know that if left unchecked, he'll ruin his entire life, right?" Li Feng took a sharp breath. "Zumai Zhao, you're doing this on purpose. You're deliberately using our son to force me to admit my mistake, to make me bow down to you, right? You're truly vicious. To win against me, you're even willing to destroy our son. Do you think because you went to a more prestigious school, you're always better than me, so you look down on me? Let me tell you, I don't educate our son not because I'm inferior to you, but because I don't care. If I wanted to, I could teach our son 100 times better than you." He snarled each word, then stormed off in a huff. So he had always felt inferior to me. I watched his retreating figure, laughing until tears streamed down my face. No wonder, ever since we got married, he always denied all my methods of raising our son, deliberately ignoring all my efforts for this family. So, he was that insecure. He always thought I looked down on him, always thought I wanted our son to study well to provoke him, to subtly mock his academic background. In my previous life, I hadn't realized this, but now, everything was clear as day. I had not only raised an ungrateful son, but also married an insecure and narrow-minded man. After today, I would completely erase the Li family from my life. As the exams drew closer, the school became busier. I no longer had time to pay attention to the Li family, just silently counted down the days, waiting for the exams to end, waiting for the day Li Feng and I would go our separate ways. Amidst my busy schedule, Chu Rui and I still managed to meet up, drink hot cappuccinos, and savor every relaxing moment. How was Li Feng? I didn't care. I didn't actively follow news about him, but occasionally Zhan Bang would frequently complain online. It's annoying as hell. Since when did my dad become as annoying as that old hag? All day, nagging, nagging, nagging. Why does he have to rush me? Can't I just finish my game and then study? Damn it, it's so annoying. Isn't everyone talking about happy education now? I really want to turn into a machine gun and shoot all these annoying babblers to pieces. Just one math problem wrong, and he has to scold me for half an hour. Even that old hag wasn't as annoying as him. You really are far sweet, near rot. Whoever cares about his studies is his enemy. Since Li Feng said those harsh words to me, Zhan Bang constantly complained online. When he felt like it, he'd post a dozen times a day. Besides criticizing Grandma Li's now terrible cooking, he also complained about Li Feng's strict management. Mom, have you had enough fun laughing? Before the exam, he sent me a message. Mom, have you messed around enough? Have you mocked enough? Aren't you coming home? Don't think that after divorcing Dad with your old, ugly, useless appearance you can find a rich CEO who dotes on you. Stop reading those trashy novels. I swear if you find one, I'll be a dog. He sent me a video clip. Don't believe me? My dad has already found me a stepmom. If you don't come back, I'll call her mom. Honestly, she's younger than you, prettier than you, sweeter than you, and has a better figure than you. I even saw her and Dad in bed. She's much more passionate than you were with Dad. Come home, don't mess around anymore. If you really divorce, I won't follow you. Ridiculous. I gave you a step down, but you don't know what's good for you. Whatever, it's not me who'll be ridiculed anyway. Don't think this family will fall apart without you, Zhu Maizhao. This is my last warning. If you don't humble yourself, you'll lose this whole house. Late at night, I saw his message. I typed on the keyboard, wanting to tell him that studying was for himself, not for me. That failing to get into a prestigious school, failing university, being ridiculed by others wouldn't be my shame. If he weren't my son, I wouldn't even look at him. But in the end, I swallowed these words. I just replied, "It's been raining these past few days. Remember to bring an umbrella when you go out." He angrily texted back, "Do you think saying that will make me remember your contributions? I hate you, and I hate Dad. You two ruined my life." Before sending this, he had retracted a message. I didn't see what he wrote, nor did I care. My mother-son relationship with him had ended in the previous life. The high school entrance exams came quickly. Li Feng was very anxious because, throughout this period, his relationship with Zhan Bang had become increasingly strained. The boy only knew how to play games all day, hardly touching a book. Grandma Li ran to various temples, praying to Guan Yin, the Jade Emperor, and Emperor Wencheng, hoping her grandson would get into a prestigious school. But with Zhan Bang's erratic performance recently, no one dared to guess how well he would score. When the results were announced, he was the top scorer, 10 points higher than the second-ranked student. Of course, he also got into a prestigious school. All my colleagues came to congratulate me. "Congratulations, Ms. Zhao, your son is the top scorer. It seems he could even be the top scorer in university." I smiled faintly, not replying. On the evening the scores were announced, Li Feng gleefully brought Zhan Bang to see me. "Zhu Maizhao, don't think graduating from a 985 university makes you so great. In the end, weren't you still defeated by me, a graduate from a second-tier school? I don't believe that with your abilities you could make your son score so high." He smiled triumphantly, then turned to Zhan Bang. "Tell her, weren't you surprised too?" But Zhan Bang didn't smile or play along. He just looked at me quietly, calmly asking, "Didn't you two say you'd divorce after my exams? When are you going to get the divorce certificate?" Li Feng laughed heartily. "Son, you really do worry about Grandma. This still depends on your mother. As long as she kneels and admits her mistake, the divorce can wait until you become the top scorer in university." Zhan Bang's eyes lit up. "Then what are we waiting for? Let's choose today." "Zhu Maizhao, don't be unreasonable." I was too lazy to argue, so I went into my room to get the documents immediately. Thanks to Li Feng's cooperation, the divorce process was quick. Only the staff at the Civil Affairs Bureau kept lamenting regretfully, "Such a perfectly fine couple, why divorce? Doing so will cause great psychological trauma to the children." I was about to retort when Zhan Bang spoke first, his tone sarcastic. "Even the emperor can't control when he dies. Why is an eunuch like you meddling in others' affairs?" The staff member was speechless. Li Feng immediately yelled, "Zhan Bang, don't be rude, apologize to the staff immediately." But even as he spoke, he didn't truly wish for his son to apologize. After all, he was now the father of the top scorer, high on pride. Divorced, I have to celebrate. Knowing that Li Feng and I had divorced, Grandma Li glared at me sharply. Good, you're finally out of my house, you jinx. From now on, my grandson's career will soar like a kite. But you, a divorced woman is nothing but used goods, despised by others. Let's see if any man will bother to take you. Not stopping there, she posted a series of messages online, publicly announcing my divorce on WeChat, Zio Hongshu, and even Douyin. She celebrated the divorce on every social media platform she could find. She caused such a commotion that even Li Feng's entire company knew about it. But because the employee evaluation period had ended and Zhan Bang had just become the top scorer, the company didn't blame him. However, colleagues gossiped incessantly. To maintain his image as a refined and noble man, Li Feng even accepted an invitation to appear on a TV reconciliation show, inviting me as a guest. I didn't refuse. As long as he didn't pull any tricks, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it either. During the filming, he deliberately played the role of an understanding man, speaking fluently as if delivering a prepared speech. "The main reason my wife and I divorced was due to differences in our parenting philosophies," he said, as if reciting from a script. Everything was going according to plan until the MC asked about who would raise the child. Li Feng shook his head, smiling bitterly. "I will raise my son. I'll leave the house and car to her. Of our joint assets, I'll only take a small portion." I nodded in agreement, but before confirming, I calmly corrected his words. "The house and car you mentioned, you mean the assets I owned before marriage. The 2 apartments registered under your mother's name, purchased after marriage, are related to asset division. I think you should clarify to avoid dragging each other to court later and both losing face." The MC immediately turned to Li Feng, looking surprised. He was cornered, his face pale. He quickly changed the subject. "See, this is why I divorced her. I talk about parenting methods, and she only cares about asset division, like a chicken talking to a duck. Living with her was hell every day." I crossed my arms, smirking. "Oh, if I don't talk about money, what else can I talk to you about? About your idiotic parenting philosophy? Or about your bedroom prowess, Li Feng?" Li Feng stiffened. What nonsense are you spouting?" I couldn't be bothered to look at him, just calmly picked up my phone and lightly shook it in front of the camera. "Do you want me to broadcast your intimate scenes on live television?" The entire studio erupted. Li Feng jumped up, startled. "Zumai Zhao, you wouldn't dare. If you do that, it's a violation of privacy. I can sue you." Before he finished his words, the entire set fell into chaos. The half-asleep director immediately sobered up, gesturing for the camera to zoom in on Li Feng's expression. This was the push I needed. Online, the audience in the livestream chat boiled over. WTF, is this real or fake? Free drama, high quality. Is there really a clip? Do I need to get popcorn? Oh my god, truly a top-tier TV show, haha, slapped in the face in 1 second. Sister, quickly release the evidence. That man is starting to panic. Don't stop now. With the way he was reacting, the evidence was clearly undeniable. Of course, I wouldn't do something like harming 1,000 enemies while losing 800 of your own. I wouldn't do it, but someone else did it for me. That person was none other than his son, Li Zhan Bang. Recently, Li Feng had been aggressively promoting his parenting philosophy, creating a parenting craze on short video platforms. His account gained hundreds of thousands of followers, but he didn't expect his own son to use that account to post a video recording him and the nanny doing immoral things in bed. The lower part was blurred, but the audio was crystal clear. "Baby, Big Brother is about to go in, are you ready? Baby, isn't Big Brother amazing?" Less than half an hour after the video was posted, Li Feng's account was immediately locked. His title as a parenting expert became a joke, with netizens ridiculing and cursing him. Soon, he found himself in a situation where, when the tree falls, monkeys scatter. Everyone ganged up on him. When Grandma Li found out, she immediately retaliated, running to the school to accuse me of infidelity, claiming that the video was fabricated by me and my lover to kick Li Feng out of the house empty-handed. She shrieked wildly, even attempting to assault me, but unfortunately, she failed and was grabbed by security and thrown out. Even though it wasn't my fault, the school principal still made me write a self-criticism. Even though Li Feng is your husband, you are also a victim, but your handling of the situation was a bit excessive. Now, with all this commotion, both the #1 middle school and you yourself have become subjects of gossip. They sounded righteous, but I knew perfectly well that the principal's mistress was also participating in the excellent teacher selection this year. They merely wanted to clear the way for the mistress. No need, I choose to resign. Anyway, my contract with the school had expired. I submitted my resignation, leaving everything behind decisively. After more than a decade of slaving away, I was fed up. In the coming days, I wanted to start a new job. The asset division with Li Feng happened faster and easier than I expected. Affected by the scandal, he was fired by his company. His mother screamed and cursed, intending to seek out the principal to cause trouble and demand justice for her son. Unexpectedly, upon encountering the principal, he drove his car straight into her. She broke a leg. Li Feng knew the principal had strong backing and didn't dare to sue, so he accepted 200,000 yuan in compensation to keep quiet. The three of them ended up living together in a small one-bedroom apartment in the East District. Not long after, Li Feng remarried. His new wife was someone he met through short videos, claiming to admire his achievements. On the day of their marriage registration, he even posted online, boasting, "A virtuous wife helps me achieve great things. Having a virtuous wife is like holding gold and silver in your hand." 3 months later, the principal's wife discovered her husband's affair with his mistress. She caused a huge commotion at the school, leading to a series of moral scandals and economic corruption charges. The principal was dismissed. When I heard news of Li Feng again, he was paralyzed after a failed suicide jump from a building. His new wife turned out to be a swindler, taking all his property and money from his bank accounts. I wasn't surprised by this outcome. My son disappeared. No one knew where he went, if he was alive or dead. His profile picture turned black. His last post was just an apology. "Mom, I'm sorry." I knew my son had been reborn from the moment he scored first without studying. I don't know what he went through in the previous life after I died that made him side with me. I only know that there's no medicine for regret in this life, and I will never forgive a betrayer. Wrong is wrong. We will have to pay for our mistakes for the rest of our lives.